Here's your wrestling news for September 8th, 2022, and we're kicking off today with AEW, and never before in the history of the show has there been so much intrigue going into an episode of Dynamite. After the comments made by CM Punk after All Out and the fight he was a part of, fans were eager to learn what the future held for him, as well as everyone else involved in the Brawl. On Dynamite, Tony Khan appeared and earned himself boos from the crowd, who up until this point had supported the AEW president. Khan explained that due to the fight, he has stripped CM Punk of the AEW World Championship and has also stripped the Elite of their newly won AEW Trios World Tag Team titles. In Punk's situation, he was also said to have been injured during All Out, though not in the fight, so the title situation was going to have to be addressed even if the fight had never broke out. Instead of CM Punk, a new AEW World Champion will be crowned at Grand Slam on September 21st, with Jon Moxley and Chris Jericho getting a bye into the semifinals. Bryan Danielson, who defeated Hangman Adam Page last night, will face Jericho, with the winner advancing to the finals, while Sammy Guevara or Darby Allin will take on Moxley, with the winner of that match going to the finals. These are unprecedented times for Tony Khan, who has had to strip arguably his four biggest stars of title gold, and we'll have to see what the future holds for AEW. CM Punk has been suspended from TV, out with an injury, and stripped of the AEW World title, but that's not all that's happened to the now two-time former AEW champion. Before the show, fans wondered if Punk had been suspended or possibly even fired, and we may have gotten an answer in the form of the opening package. During the intro video for AEW Dynamite, Punk was nowhere to be seen, having been pulled from the opener, no doubt in response to his actions last weekend. Now, this isn't proof that Punk is gone from the company for good, but it certainly is a sign that AEW doesn't want fans to think about the Chicago-made wrestler, in stark contrast to how highly the company thought of Punk just a few weeks ago. It was just a few weeks ago that AEW felt it necessary to host a Backstage talent-wide meeting addressing some of the reports about the company. That happened prior to Dynamite, where Punk and Jon Moxley had their title unification match, and the message of that meeting was that AEW is a team that works well together. Clearly, that doesn't appear to be the case, and now Fightful Select reports that after last night's Dynamite in Buffalo, New York, there was another meeting. It was said that Punk and Ace Steel, his trainer who was involved in the fight, attended virtually, as neither man was present for the Buffalo show. On the flip side, an in-person talent meeting took place before this week's Dynamite. As Sean Ross Sapp reports, we're told that an AEW talent meeting was set to take place at 4:15 p.m. Eastern, with talent, referees, coaches, and announcers Bryan Danielson, Chris Jericho, and Jon Moxley were set to lead the meeting. Chris Jericho had been complimented by several on the AEW roster about his demeanor and resolve as the Elite CM Punk situation unfolded. With Jericho in the AEW World Title Tournament, he could be the next champion of the company, especially if Tony Khan is looking to have someone he can rely on being professional. It's unclear what was said during these two meetings, though we imagine that the reception Punk received during the first wasn't exactly the warm welcome he's gotten used to by those at AEW. We can't say for certain what was said at the two meetings, but if Eddie Kingston spoke, we have an idea as to what he will have said. Kingston has never been one to keep his opinions to himself and feuded with CM Punk last year, culminating in a loss to Punk at Full Gear 2021. It was last month that Punk took aim at Kingston on Dynamite, calling him the second best Kingston behind Kofi and third best Eddie behind Guerrero and Eddie Umaga Fatu. At the time, Kingston fired back in a tweet accusing Punk of being afraid to say that to his face, and during the Busted Open Radio before last weekend's All Out, Kingston made his views on Punk clear. That's Phil's MO. Let's just call it like it is. That's Punk's MO. My man has a Punk shirt there. God bless you. I'm happy you're a fan of his. I'm not. He's a bitch. But God bless, you can like a bitch, I don't. I'm joking. It's all good. I understand he's a Chicago guy. I get it. Doesn't mean I want to wrestle him. Punk's not a good dude. I don't care what he says. Of course, he's going to trash talk when I'm not there. Of course he's going to trash talk when the boss is in the way. I think he just likes me and he can't get over it. Maybe Philip wants to be like me. Maybe Philip wants to be loved like me. I don't know. People think a lot of the stuff I do is a work or whatever they want to call it because everybody likes using insider terms and be in the know. I'll give it to you plain and simple. I don't like Chris Jericho, I don't like Bryan Danielson, I don't like Claudio Castagnoli, and I don't like Punk. Those are the people I don't like in this company. There's nothing you can say or do to tell me that makes them different to me. I know who they are. There's been a lot of talk about what is real and what's a work, with some fans insisting that the Fight It All Out was just a storyline, but like the backstage brawling, Eddie Kingston is as real as it gets. More from AEW now, as no matter who comes out AEW World Champion, they'll have to face MJF, who earned a shot at the World Champion at All Out. MJF earned a title match by entering the casino ladder match in a mask, and though it was teased at the end of All Out that he'd be feuding with CM Punk, that isn't the case anymore. MJF appeared in the opening segment of Dynamite wearing a Buffalo Bills jersey and earning a huge ovation from the crowd. Leaning into a face turn, the Salt of the Earth admitted that he might have said some offensive stuff the last time he appeared for the company, and said he wouldn't be in the world title tournament. Jon Moxley emerged and was quick to call out MJF, saying he's full of crap, and sure enough, he was. Ripping off the jersey and trashing the Bills, MJF showed his true colors, saying that becoming AEW World Champion is nothing more than a bargaining chip for him, one that can make him more valuable when his contract expires in 2024. With his comments, MJF proved he's still a dastardly heel, and Moxley, in no mood to mess around, forced the cocky heel to retreat to the back. After 3 months away from Dynamite, MJF's return was a welcome sight in the face of AEW losing many of its top stars, and whoever becomes world champion will have to face MJF one day. MJF had a lot to say during his return to AEW Dynamite, and that included making references to WWE. Speaking about the AEW World title, the Salt of the Earth said he wanted to take the gold to a real wrestling company, presumably WWE, as MJF has repeatedly flirted with the idea of joining the opposition. MJF confirmed that he was talking about WWE when he added that he wanted to wrestle the American Roller Coaster, a nod to the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. The Salt of the Earth then said that he wanted to work with the real Khan and that it was best for business. References to WWE co-CEO Nick Khan and Triple H's line during his time as head of the Authority. It's no secret that WWE has shown interest in MJF, so it may be a matter of time before they make him an offer, and we imagine a reign as AEW World Champion under his belt will only increase his value. More from the CM Punk case now, as a lot of people have weighed in on Punk's actions over the past week, with many branding the former AEW World Champion unprofessional. When he was running WCW, Eric Bischoff learned a thing or two about dealing with the egos of wrestlers and has chimed in on the Punk scandal. In a tweet, Bischoff made it clear he's against what Punk did both during and after the all-out media scrum, claiming it made Tony Khan look ridiculous. Punk's whiny meltdown and subsequent burial of the company, as well as emasculating TK in public at a press conference, is no less a far bigger issue than a high school lunchroom fight backstage BS. When asked what it would take for Khan to fire a top draw like Punk, Bischoff's response was blunt and to the point: balls. At this time, it's believed that Punk has been suspended, but there's no confirmation on whether he's been fired. But all we know is that we won't be seeing the controversial former champion for quite some time. Clearly, a lot has happened with AEW as of late, and one name has been wanting out. We previously reported that Malakai Black had requested his release from AEW, a request that was denied by Tony Khan. Black is said to have been dealing with a personal issue, and now multiple AEW wrestlers have told Fightful Select that Khan has now accepted Black's request. It's noted that Khan reluctantly approved Black's request to be released, though tried to coax him back, telling the former NXT champion that he could be a huge asset to AEW for years to come. Numerous talents inform us that they've been told that Malakai Black is done with the company for the foreseeable future, with many saying that he got his release. AEW sources claim that release is highly conditional, which isn't usually the case for the company. Usually AEW doesn't even release talent outside of disciplinary reasons, and requests for release are done on a case-by-case basis. We are told by many in the company that Tony Khan specifically wanted to retain Black and hoped to see him as part of the brand for years to come. There were efforts to have conversations to salvage the working relationship that AEW believed were fruitful. However, we're told that a meeting took place sometime recently, and it was decided that if Black wanted out, they should probably allow it. Black kissed goodbye and bowed to the AEW crowd after All Out. Talent are of the belief that there are heavy restrictions on Black, and there may be more to the agreement, including conditions that would prevent him from wrestling elsewhere anytime soon. Black withdrew from a September 9 indie show in Ohio, according to PW Insider. AEW sources tell us that the door isn't closed on a potential return for Black as far as they've heard. Black's release has been a conditional release, meaning he's likely subject to a non-compete clause similar to WWE, again, something that Tony Khan has tried in the past to avoid. Prior to his release being approved, it was reported that Black was considering a permanent break from wrestling. That's how serious the personal issue is having on his mental health. While the door may be open to a return, Black's days with AEW are now over, and his days in the ring could also have come to an end. And we're ending today with Royal Rumble news, as plans are coming together for next January's premium live event. In a statement, WWE confirmed that the 2023 Rumble event will take place on January 28th at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. There's no confirmation on any matches yet other than the titular men's and women's Rumble matches, though many people are calling a returning Cody Rhodes the favorite to win the 30-man match. For the majority of fans, the Royal Rumble marks the start of the road to WrestleMania, so we'll have to see who punches their ticket to WrestleMania at next January's event.
Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.